Moving on. We have some crazy news, as I mentioned earlier, in the NFL draft regarding some draft picks being exchanged. And boy, this comes on the heels of that blockbuster LA Rams trade moving up to 1.
Yep.
So let's break this down real quick. The Eagles sent 5 draft picks to the Browns. 5. 2 future picks among the 5. One
of them being a first rounder.
Yes, and that's huge because the Eagles might suck. So the Browns
They will.
You think so?
Without a doubt.
So the Browns get the number 8 picks, and they were at 2. They were at 2, and they dropped only 6 spots. And the Rams had to go up from 15 to 1. You know the difference there? Yeah. It's like, dang. So only losing 6 spots in this deal is insane to begin with. And then they also get a 3rd-round pick and a 4th-round pick in this draft. So the Browns are loading up on deals this year, and then next year they get a 1st-round pick in 2017.
Yep.
And then a 2nd-round pick in 2018.
Yep.
So it's like, Eagles, dude, what are you doing?
Eagles got the 2nd, and they got a conditional 4th next year.
Yep.
That's absolutely ridiculous. But I mean, I've been my uncle used to be a scout's aide, so he would just assist, and so he's very he's very engaged in college football, so he's always kind of took me under his wing and showed me what makes a good player and what doesn't, although he did think Jamarcus Russell was going to be a good player. That didn't play out. Now looking at these 2 quarterbacks, obviously that's what we had the Rams move up for and the Eagles move up for.
And that's the reason why they moved up.
These guys aren't shit.
I know.
These guys aren't shit.
That's the thing.
I saw Carson Wentz play at Illinois State. He played, and this dude, it was like, wow, you could tell he was on a different level as compared to these other dudes on the field. But he was nothing fantastic, and I saw it with my own eyes. I watched his pro day. There was nothing fantastic about that. Goff is let me mirror every other douchebag that's on TV talking about the draft. Goff is more NFL ready. Okay, yeah, sure. He is. And he's going to be a decent dude. He could shape out to be a guy like Rodgers. He's got solid arm strength, solid accuracy. So, I could see why the Rams would want to move up for him. And by the way, everybody listening, it's a guarantee the Rams are going to take Jared Goff. If you read a mock draft that tells you otherwise, that's wrong.
There you go.
So the Eagles essentially moved up knowing they were going to get Carson Wentz. And was that worth it? I can't think of his name right now, but the GM spoke of on the Eagles move, and he said it's like chocolate or vanilla. And I said, no, it's not. It's like chocolate or pistachio. You have Jared Goff, a very solid, likable guy, and then you have Carson Wentz, this wild card that you just moved up to the 2 for.
Yeah.
But I don't know with this whole. I understand the typical conversation. You need a quarterback to do well. You need a quarterback to be successful. You need a quarterback to build your team around. Well, the Browns don't seem to care that much. They're content going in RG3 Josh McCown, baby. That's what I'm talking about. So and they're cool with that. But I have a little mock going that kind of shakes that up as well. Whenever you'd like me to drop that.
Yeah, no, I just want to build off what you were saying.
Sure.
With the Rams, and the Eagles, it's totally obvious that they moved up for the top 2 picks in this draft to draft quarterback. Yeah. And with the Eagles, let me ask you, what the hell are they doing? Because they signed Bradford to a 2-year extension, right? And he's got that's a pretty decent amount of money. 22 mil or something.
22 million,
like per year,
a lot,
or whatever
guaranteed.
it is.
I think it was something 18, something 18 to something
so
along
he's
those
among
lines.
the top at least 12 paid quarterbacks in the league. At least top 12.
Sure is.
Okay.
After a very mediocre year last year.
Right. And I think that also has to do with Chip Kelly because he's kind of crazy. But
he's a bitch. Yeah.
It doesn't matter with that. But they add Chase Daniel too. What are they doing?
Don't hate on my boy from Missouri, okay?
Okay, now now you have some high praise for Chase Daniel.
Absolutely.
But what are they doing? If they're going to go up and trade up for a number 2 pick, who are they going to take a quarterback? And they have Sam Bradford, who's a proven starter,
competent,
who you believe is going to be their guy going into the season.
Yeah.
And you have a guy you believe in Chase Daniel as a backup.
Yeah.
And then you go up and trade for a quarterback.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Are you obviously if you draft Wentz, he's not going to be in right away. So he's going to be a backup.
He's going to have to build. Yeah.
But like I said, so if that happens, then it's going to be Chase Daniel versus Carson Wentz because Sam Bradford's going to be gone eventually. But I just don't understand the thought process here. They gave up a ton of value for that pick. And like you said, they're not even worth it. The quarterbacks aren't even worth it. I look back at the best quarterback, I would say like a top must-take quarterback. I'm going to look over RG3.
Sure.
But it was Andrew Luck.
It was Andrew Luck. He was a must. But the Colts would have never given up that pick.
No,
you know what
right,
I mean?
because he's a must-get.
He's a must-get.
In this draft, Jared Goff, is he a must-get? I saw on mock drafts before the trade that the Rams made that he may have fallen out of the top 10. Well, I know the 49ers and Browns and Eagles were still in on quarterbacks, but early on, Jared Goff wasn't looked at as this high-caliber guy.
You know what? He wasn't. But here's how I see things. If we're going to look in the past 2 years or so, I think, we're talking about must-get guys. I think Jameis Winston is one of those guys. I think he's one of those guys that is just too good to fail. So if we're talking in the past 2 years or so, the top 4, if we're talking about the guys who are going to go 1-2, it's going to go Winston, Goff, Mariota, Wentz. And so that is high praise for Jared Goff after Mariota had an admirable rookie season. So, I mean, I can understand the Rams move. You're going to get this proven dude from Cal who, played against a lot of really good teams, a dominant UCLA defense. He's played some very, very good teams. But the Eagles moving up when they have 2 competent quarterbacks right there on their roster to move up for a dude they're just going to develop who might not even pan out. It just doesn't make sense why you wouldn't wait in the 3rd round for a guy like Christian Hackenberg or Dak Prescott or Jacoby Brissett, any of those dudes who could, step in and, make a difference later on. I don't understand the thought process here, but they must see something that we're not, and it's good luck, Eagles. Yeah. That's all I have to say.
I'm glad I'm not an Eagles fan right now, but yeah, that's some pretty crazy stuff, and it shakes up. Really, again, I just got done doing a podcast talking about how the first 10 picks are shaken up by this Rams damn deal.
Without a doubt.
And now again, it's
moved again.
Because the Cowboys, before the Eagles went up, the Cowboys could have drafted a quarterback.
Oh, I could have totally seen Jerry Jones being the dumb bitch that he is and taking making a very bad decision. Always.
Yeah, he wanted Manziel in the past, so it wouldn't surprise me there.
Moved up. What did he give up to get Morris Claiborne? And he's a bust too. I mean, but I almost wanted to see that happen. I almost wanted to see them end up getting a guy like Carson Wentz and getting
America's
screwed over
team,
like
baby.
that. Yeah, of course.
But then you had the 49ers and the Eagles at 8 before the pick. They had all these kind of different angles that you could go